What's up, guys? I'm trying to learn this new YouTube live streaming thing that's in beta testing, so bear with me for a little bit. I'm not as smart as most people think I am. I have to play around with these things and screw things up before I get them right. It's gonna be boring just for a second. I am trying to figure this thing out. So what's up, everybody? Give me a hot second. All right. I'm not going to read your question just right now. You guys hold on just a minute. Trying to get my delay caught up. All right, looks like everything's what's going on, guys? Hey, everybody. I'm just messing around tonight. This one's not going to be long. I've got to pack for a fishing trip early in the morning, so gonna mess around just a little bit, try to figure out this new YouTube live streaming. I haven't tried it in a while. Been using the Google Plus stuff lately, so. And there's such a delay on this thing. There's not supposed to be, and that's not making me very happy. All right. What's my biggest bass? 10 pounds, 12 ounces. Caught in just outside of Auburn, Alabama this past spring on a kayak, in a Hobie kayak to be, as a matter of fact. Hold on a second. Okay, then you need to. I'm not very happy with my children right now. They are going crazy. Too much candy from Halloween. No, that was my son.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Jake. Whew, questions are coming in quick. Hold on a second, guys. What do I like catching more, largemouth or smallmouth? There are no smallmouth in my area. I guess there are, but they're so hard to get to. They're in the rapids, in the river behind the house, 10 miles down from my house. And the only way to get there is by kayak, and I just haven't had the chance to jump in there and get them. But I think I've caught 5, 6, maybe 7 smallmouth in my life, so I'd have to say largemouth. So, nope, I don't have a guide service, not right now. For a few reasons. I don't have a captain's license, for one thing, and so that's one of the things on my to-do list. And then another thing is I just don't have time right now. Maybe when I go full-time fishing, I'll go into it again. I really enjoy taking people out fishing, though. It's a lot of fun. So, what I catch that bass on? It was a Texas rig vial craw. Flipped it into a log, and I guess she was either spawning or just sitting on the end of the log, or pre-spawning or something. But it was about that time they were spawning in the area, and she hit it immediately. So there is not a best all-around fishing rod. It all depends on what you want to fish. I always say the best all-around fishing rod is actually 3 fishing rods: a spinning rod, it's medium action, a medium fast action bait caster, and a medium heavy bait caster. That covers everything. That gives you an all-around, choice. But one rod, there's not a best all-around rod, not in my opinion. So, when do I use copolymer line? I use copolymer line all the time, really, except for when I'm fishing ultra finesse on my spinner rods. I have braided line, and I put on a fluorocarbon leader. Or when I'm flipping to heavy cover, I'll use braided line. Other than that, I have 20-pound fluorocarbon on my jig rods because I fish a lot of really clear water. But shoot, copolymer, dude, I've been using it for 10 years, that Izorline stuff, and it's great. I use it for everything else. I have 15-pound test I buy in a 1-pound spool, lasts me 3 or 4 years. A quarter-pound spool lasts me a year and a half to 2 years. And I'll buy it in 10 for cranking, 15 for everything else, and it's awesome. It is awesome stuff. I've tried the P-line stuff and ripped it. I bought $100 worth of P-line stuff because I didn't have any Izorline left when I got my new reels, and I immediately ordered some Izorline and ripped that P-line off. I thought it was great. I've been recommending it for years, but it really was not as good as the Izorline. So, DC Whammy, shaky head tips. I've got a real good shaky head video. Covers just about everything. I mean, light line technique, medium light action spinning rod, and fish slow. It's not a search bait. Justin Weems, what are my plans for the future? Well, come about March, I'm going to make the decision to whether I should go full time or not with this, and then go from there. Really, it's I got so many ideas I'm keeping secret that you guys are going to love in the future if I can do this full time. Video every other day, and a lot of other things that are just going to be awesome. Because my ultimate goal is to teach the world to fish, and the more avenues I can use, I can get into to do that, the better. The more partnerships I can come up, can make with other people and other companies and stuff like that, the better. And it'll be awesome. It'll be totally awesome. So sorry, I sound like I'm kind of down tonight. I'm exhausted. I had a long weekend of work. I worked 40 hours on the weekend, so pretty tired. Do I tournament fish? Nope, sure don't. You can use your baitcaster combo for flounder fishing, anything really. I mean, it's a fishing rod and a reel and holds line. Just wash it off real good when you're done and soak it in water. I have not tried Iaconelli's rod. I play around with them he showed them to me at iCast, and they seem pretty good. I haven't played with them though. I haven't really messed with them that much. So, what is a search bait? A moving bait. Anything you can cover water quickly with. Spinner bait, swim bait, buzz bait, anything that you cast out and reel in is a search bait. So. Favorite bait to locate bass? It depends on the time of year. Anything from a crankbait to a spinner bait. A lot of different things. So. Anywhere in the world, what species, what would it be? Falcon Lake for largemouth bass is one of the things I really want to do. My main source of income is I'm an x-ray tech on the weekends at the hospital. I work in a trauma center, OR, everything really. Anywhere. We have 2 hospitals, basically a children's hospital and an adult hospital, and there's 4 people on my shift. And so we're pretty busy throughout the weekend. Work 40 hours from Friday night to Monday morning, and off Monday through Friday and get to fish. So, but it tears me up sometimes. I got all this. I break out every week because I'm allergic or I have a reaction to the hand sanitizers that they use. And I don't use the hand sanitizer, but it gets on everything I touch. And every Monday I look like this. I look like I'm breaking out. It's bad. So. Why don't I fish tournaments? Because I love to shoot videos, and I can't do both. If I shoot videos, I give it 110%. If I fish tournaments, I give it 110%. I'm not going to do both because both of them will suffer. and so I choose not to. Plus, that's really not. I'm not fond of that lifestyle. I love the guys that do it. They're good friends of mine. I'm not. It's not for me. It really isn't. I like to fish a few here and there, little pot tournaments, but that's just for fun. I don't put any pressure on myself. I just go do it. So, what rod would I fish for a Nico rig? A medium light action spinning rod is what I would fish for one. So, I live in Augusta, Georgia. Do I like spinning rods? Yeah, for finesse stuff. Drop shot, shaky heads, Nico rigs, Mojo rigs, light line techniques, small crankbaits. Those little small balsa wood crankbaits. I mean, it's they have their place. There's no one or the other. This ain't like a Ford truck and Chevy truck thing. You need spinning rods for certain things, and you need bait casters for certain things. So, but I have 15 bait casters to 4 spinning rods because you really don't need that many. So. Favorite season to fish? Oh, spring and fall. I like winter too. Winter's getting to be pretty good for me. So you guys will see me on the water all winter long. Luckily, we don't get hard water like you guys do up in Minnesota. So, boy, this feed goes fast. I have to stop it and read. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate all the good comments. Oh, pond with vegetation. Depends on the vegetation. Is it submergent or is it emergent? Submergent vegetation, I'd throw a Mojo rig all day long if I had trouble, fishing in the grass. For emergent vegetation, it's going to be punching. Tie on a big heavy weight and punch it and see what's underneath it. So, Ford or Chevy? Toyota. Oh, that wasn't an option. I don't know much about the BPS tourney specials anymore. That's some of the first rods I ever owned were Bass Pro Shop rods, and when people are just getting started and don't want to spend a whole lot of money on rods, especially a baitcaster when you're just learning, a Bass Pro Shop combo is excellent because you're not going to break the bank, and you're going to learn what you need to learn, and then upgrade later on when you get a job and get money and so on and so forth. So. Is the boat I have the only one I've had? No. I had a Triton aluminum before that. I had a 14-foot Grumman with an 8-horse on the back of that, and then before that I had a belly boat, a little pond hopper, one of those little bass busters. I don't know what they call them, the plastic boats. I fished out of canoes. But yeah, this is by far the best boat I've ever owned. I love my Alumacraft. It's a great boat. So, favorite jig ounces, I use a 3/8 most of the time because I don't usually fish jigs too deep. I have some 3/4 ounce and 1 ounce jigs that I'll fish 40, 50 feet deep sometime in the dead of the summer. So how did I lose my GoPro? I was changing the battery on it, and normally my GoPro stays up in the case with the microphone plugged in, and I popped the back of the case off and just reached down to do something. I don't know what I was looking at and what I did, but I let go of the camera and it drooped down, and the plug, I've got a new microphone. The plug didn't hang on and it fell in the water. 45 minutes to an hour later, I found it with my feet. I was up to my chest in 66-degree water. It was cold. So, what's my favorite lure? The one the bass wants. I don't have a favorite. I don't keep favorites. I change often. I'm always experimenting because I want to know what the bass's favorite lure is. That's why I'm able to catch fish every day. Let's see. Best all-around pond fishing technique. Just like with the lures, the technique the bass wants. That's why you need to learn every technique that you can and just have a good knowledge of it. So, favorite topwater bait. I really can't. I can pick a favorite topwater bait because there's one that I always have tied on. You guys have seen me catch a lot of fish on it if you've watched my videos. It's a clear Super Spook Junior with a red hook on the front. I call it the Old Faithful. It's it just what I've always used and it's always caught fish for me. Let's So what's the best ducket? I don't use duckets anymore. I'm not really, it's nothing wrong with the Micro Magics. I was just tired of the problems I was having with the guides freezing up in the wintertime and the chipping and the cracking guides, and I was tired of the ghost rod tip that was getting grooved with the braided line, so I backed out of it. So I've got 13 fishing rods. They started sponsoring me this last month, so we'll see. It's been a good relationship so far. My father taught me how to fish, so. Is it too late for frog to fish? I don't know. I don't know where you live. I'll be throwing a frog tomorrow morning here, and actually I'm going over to South Carolina to fish, and I'll be throwing a frog tomorrow morning. So, golly, this thing's a pain in the neck. Pressured public lakes, go finesse fishing. Get a spinning rod and go. So, best lake in Georgia? I don't know. I've got my favorites. So my favorite is Oconee. It's not always the best. It's sometimes pretty hard, but I like it. It's got good docks and good fish and good bait. So I go braid to fluorocarbon for a drop shot. You want kind of a sinking line when you're drop shotting. Gives you better action on your worm. So crappie patterns. In the winter, they love to get into the trees out in the middle of the lake in brush piles, depending on the depth that they want to be on. Sometimes they'll be at 10 feet, 20, 30 feet deep. So what is a mojo rig? I got a really good video that teaches you everything you can about it, but it's basically a finesse Carolina rig weight, or a finesse Carolina rig. 8-pound test fluorocarbon, little tiny hook, a little 8th or 16th ounce sinker, and you're fishing on top of the grass. And the bass come up out of the grass to eat it, so it's awesome. Do I hunt? Yes. Well, not so much anymore. I'm more focused on making instructional videos. I've kind of put down my guns for a while. I've got 3 deer heads in my office here. I've shot, well over 150, 160 deer in my life. Just stopped getting the shake, stopped getting buck fever. I don't get excited about it anymore, so I put my gun down until my dad and mom tell me they need meat, or I decide I want a deer in the freezer. I'll go out and shoot one, spend a day out there and go pop 1 or 2 good fat does and call it good for the year. I'm not all into it as I was when I was younger, so. Best fishing scale, I don't know, man. I have a Chatillon scale, which is a brass one that I got from Granger for my bluegill. I really love, but it only goes up to 6 pounds. It's a spring scale, so those are really good. They're not cheap, but I bought it for those trophy bluegill I was catching in North Carolina. So, dude, I wouldn't start an apparel brand until you've got a good establishment, a good following. To start your own apparel, you got to sell it, and if you don't have anybody to sell it to, then you got issues. So be careful doing that. I waited until just a few months ago. And let me talk about creating a channel, because this has been driving me crazy the last few days as I get all these comments from you guys, and I'm excited that you're starting your own channels. It really makes me, it makes me happy that people are taking what I've created and trying to do it themselves. But you come to me and you come to other people telling people to go check out your channel. Well, so we go and check out your channel, and you got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 videos in your channel. It's kind of like telling somebody, hey, I've got this awesome, this room that's beautifully decorated. Let's go in this room and check it out. And you open up the door and you let them in, and you walk in the room and there's nothing in there but a chair. And people are like, oh, crap, I don't want to see this. And they turn around and they walk out. Well, you just lost a subscriber for life. It's first impressions, and by just putting on a couple of videos doesn't make it to where you have a channel. You have a couple of videos. Create a channel, make 10, 15, 20 videos, then start promoting your channel, and then people will come and they'll stay. They're not going to come in and say, okay, this is great, but there's just a chair, and they're going to say, oh, this is so awesome. It doesn't work out that way. You've got to create a channel, create somewhere where somebody wants to come and actually hit the subscribe button, and then you'll see yourself grow. You're not going to grow with 1 or 2 videos. It's just not going to happen. So be patient. Do what you need to do. But make videos and watch what happens. Don't worry about promoting it at first. It's counterproductive. It really does hurt you more than it'll ever help you. So, favorite fishing snack is jerky. I almost always have jerky on the boat. So, what was I for Halloween? I was at work for Halloween. So, when it falls on the weekends, I work. Can I do panfish videos? I do bluegill. I do crappie videos. I'm not going to do too many bluegill videos quite yet. I've got some planned for in the future. I'm still learning. I'm still learning bluegill, especially when they get offshore. That's when I really want to learn how to catch them because it should be awesome. So, how do I make apparel? I don't. I just design the shirts and I have another company do it for me. Don't make a whole lot of money off of it. Actually, very little. But it gets you guys, good apparel anyway. Andrew Eaton asks, "You seem mad at the BD swim bait knockoff. Did it really show through?" Oh man, I really tried to be totally honest with that bait, and I had all of my anger bottled in during that video. I really wanted to just go off on them for copying Mike's bait. Mike's been a friend of mine since 2001. And I did that video, and I was really, I was honest about it. It's exactly how I feel about it. Cheap hooks, bad tail, doesn't have the same action. I found out from a couple of guys who've been fishing it for a couple of weeks that if you hit a rock with it, it will break. It will chip. I didn't know that before I made the video. And I found, you get what you pay for. The Mike Bucca bull shads are expensive. They are expensive, but they are handmade. He uses special kinds of epoxy resins to make the baits. They're weighted perfectly. They use great hooks. His his hook connectors swivel so they don't fall. So the fish can't throw it. It's just he puts a lot more time in it. And for a company to turn around and directly mold his baits and have them made in China, and the dude that owns Castaic is known for doing that. He's done it with all of his other companies. He copies people's baits. He cannot come up with his own design, and it's pathetic. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get off of my soapbox. So, do I like pike fishing? There's no pike down here in Georgia, so I don't pike fish much. How did I get the name Flukemaster? Jeez, back in 2002, I found out that there were forums. Actually, it's 2003, I think. I found out there were forums online. There was the bass fishing homepage back then, and I needed to come up with a screen name. And I had gained a lot of confidence in a fluke, and it was something I really wanted to learn really bad. So it's kind of a motivational thing. I just came up with the name Flukemaster, and then it bled over to Bass Resource, and then it stuck. So when I was trying to find a brand name for my YouTube channel after I'd had my YouTube channel for 3 or 4 years, and I realized that it was becoming so popular, so I had to come up with a brand name and looked and see what people were searching for to find my channel. And number 1 was bass fishing, number 2 was fishing, or the other way around, and number 3 was Flukemaster. So I said, oh well, I guess that's my brand name because my original name of actually, let's do a trivia quiz, a little question. Who knows what the original name of my YouTube channel was? I bet nobody knows. All right, nobody got it. All right, so the name of it was The Fishing Partner, and it just didn't work. So I changed it. I changed it back to Flukemaster. So, let's see. I'm gonna go back into some questions. I cannot believe there's such a delay with this thing right now. It's supposed to be better now with this new beta testing. So, How do I feel about the Florida-Georgia game? I'm still a Georgia fan. I'm not one of those that pounds my chest and gets mad at Mark Richt for losing a game. I just have always been a Georgia fan, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was at work, so. But I don't get to watch many of their games, so I probably would have lost my mind if I'd seen them. They couldn't even score a touchdown, but yeah, it is. That's Georgia fit. That's Georgia football. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me much anymore. I'm almost used to it. So, what's my favorite follow-up bait? Is going to be a weightless trick worm. Is my favorite follow-up bait for a topwater. So, um, can you sponsor me? I fish tournaments. Oh my gosh. Anyway. That's the best way to not get sponsored. Just because you fish tournaments doesn't mean you deserve to be sponsored. You have to be able to sell the person's product. So, best rod for jig flipping docks. You know, I like a short, medium, heavy action rod. It's got a little bit of tip so you can skip docks. 6, 8, 7 foot. 7 foot at the longest. So, will pickerel kill off a bass population? No, not at all. I don't duck hunt. All right, here's the question I get all the time from Jacob Best Catch. Jacob's Best Catch is how to get sponsors. Make yourself more valuable than that sponsor is to you. Make yourself, or whatever you do, make it to where you can promote that company's product. If you cannot promote that company's product, you are worth nothing to them. Therefore, they don't have a reason to sponsor you. Plain and simple. I'm not going to candy coat that any more than I already have. You just got to you got to build up something. Build something so where you can promote that product. Going to a company just saying that you tournament fish and you deserve to be sponsored, really? Okay. What's my favorite spinnerbait? Oh, dude, I got so many of them. I guess my favorite one would be a strikeback spinnerbait by Mega Strike. I really like them. If you get a fish on one of those things that doesn't shake off, they're good, solid spinnerbaits. They make a pretty good dang spinnerbait. I just wish they had different blade combination options. So, how long did it take for me to get sponsored? 12 years. It got to the point where several years ago I stopped trying. I didn't try anymore. I just wanted to build a YouTube channel. And being sponsored is not the end all. It does not mean that I'm awesome. It does not mean I'm a professional. It does not mean any of that. It means that I have built something that can promote product. And that's what I do. And I don't promote any products that I don't believe in. I don't promote any products that I feel like I can't catch a fish on or that I can't teach somebody how to catch a fish on. If it's a piece of junk product, I call it what it is. I call the company and tell them, look, this ain't right. You got to fix this. I can't do anything for you. And I've done it. I've done it several times this year. And you will never see a video on a bad product. And you'll never see me sponsored by a bad product. So I don't need the money. I don't need... Well, I do need the money, but I don't need I don't need to compromise my integrity over a dang piece of something, a lure, a fishing rod, a boat. I don't need to compromise my integrity. So, best ducket rod. I'll be honest with you. I'm done with ducket. I don't talk about them anymore. I got all of my old ducket rods sitting in the corner of my office right here with a zip tie around them. I'm done with them. So, no more ducket questions. I have never fished Lay Lake. I just know it's a, Coosa River Lake. It's got spotted bass, some largemouth. So... best bass on Gunnersville. Man, I think I've caught a 5-pounder on there, a 6-pounder. I took a guy fishing out there once, and we had one about 8 all the way to the boat. He was never caught a fish on a crankbait, and he got bit by one. Oh, it was a big fish. So, but I need to get back over there. Man, I need to get to Gunnersville. So, Maybe one day. Ever fish Tennessee? Yes, I fish Chickamauga, Kentucky Lake in Tennessee. Those are the two that I fished in Tennessee. I love fishing Tennessee River. So, do I like Bullbuster line? Yeah, their braid is really good. I enjoy their braid. I like their mono is a really good mono. It is an excellent mono. If you need mono for anything like a Carolina rig or something like that, I highly recommend Bullbuster mono. Great mono. How do I build confidence in a certain technique? You just go fish it. You leave everything else at the house and you go fishing it. So, do I have a promo code for 13 Fishing? Not yet. You know what? I need to contact them and see if they do have one. We'll probably be running promo codes around Christmas anyway. So, speaking of 13 Fishing, guys, I'm gonna let you guys be the very first ones to find out about the giveaway I'm doing when I get 100,000 subscribers. Since I got 125 people on here, it is awesome. I mean, I'm going to do a video about it and everything else. I'm still working on getting everything together and getting all the products, and so I can get good pictures and good, so I can promote it right. I've got little over 1,000 more subscribers till I hit 100,000. Then I'm going to have a competition, or have a giveaway. Basically, it's not going to be a competition. I'm going to have a giveaway, and I'm going to give away four number 8 tackle blackouts, 2 spinning rods, 2 bait casters. A Mike Buca bull shad, a bunch of Alumacraft apparel. I can't remember the price. I think it was a $50 gift card to don't quote me on this because I'm horrible with numbers, but a Biospawn gift card, 3-month subscription to Mystery Tackle Box. I'm going to give you probably $100 to $200 worth of tackle, and a GoPro session is so far what I've got put together for that get. One guy is going to get all of that, so it is going to be awesome. So you guys are the first ones to hear about it. It is I'm excited. I'm so excited about a dang giveaway. So I'm going to fish all week this week and put together that video and get everything going. So let's see. A lot of these questions I've already answered. No, I don't fish tournaments. My biggest saltwater fish was that shark I caught with Blacktip H. So, what do I like? I'm a musician. I play the guitar. I sing country music, but I like all music. It just has to be done by somebody talented. I just love talent. I've been playing instruments my whole life. And I just, I can tell what's talent and what's not. Green Day was not talent when I hated them. Just they had no talent. They could write lyrics and they could play power chords, and that was it. So I like all kinds of music. So bass lure for small creeks, small lures. There's not a single one. I'm telling you, there is not a magic bullet in bass fishing. There is not. If there was a magic bullet in bass fishing, all the other companies would go out of business. So there's not a best of anything. Have I fished a spy bait? Yes, I really like them. They're tough to fish, but I like them, especially for suspended bass. So I've seen this question before. What's your opinion on spinner baits with one gold, one silver blade? Can't seem to find any with both the same color. I got one of my mystery tackle box that had both the same color. I like a gold front Colorado blade with a back silver willow leaf. I think it gives a little bit of contrast, a little bit more thump, a little bit more vibration, and I've caught more fish on that combination than anything else. And it's usually a size 3. I think it's a 3.5. Or a 4 blade that I have put on my spinnerbait. So, what information do you want to know on the 13 Fishing Omen Black? It's a lightweight rod. It's a great deal, $100. It's awesome. I mean, I've got a lot of them now, and I love, when I say a lot, probably 8 or 9. I love them. Absolutely. They're great rods. 13 Fishing, the reason I partnered with 13 Fishing is they really truly want to make the best rod for the best price. And that's all I've ever looked for was the best rod at the best price. And I like to stick around the $100 to $160 range. I'm cheap. I was raised by a man who pinched every penny. I'm the seventh of 8 children. I grew up not very wealthy. I don't believe in spending a lot of money on stuff. So I'm going to fish what I would normally buy. Even if they give me the stuff, I'm going to fish what I would normally buy. So $80 blackout, number 8 tackle blackout, $100 Omen. I mean, just awesome rods and reels. So sorry guys, I'm getting carried away. Is the Omen stiff or flimsy? Depends on the action and the power. To me they're about they're stiffer than what I'm used to because I'm used to the ducats. But they're about right. They're super sensitive. I mean, really super sensitive. So never been a fan of G Loomis. I was given one once. I sure hope Mark Zona's not watching this. I was given one by Mark Zona and I sold it about a month later. I just didn't like it. Didn't like the rod. So where can we buy Flukemaster apparel? At the top of this video, there should be an I. Click on upper right-hand corner. Click on I where it says more info, and it will take you to where you can buy Flukemaster apparel. So, favorite Vile Craw color? Green Pumpkin or Bama Craw are my two favorites. But if, I've been catching the snot out of them on the black and blue. It just depends on watercolor and clarity what I'm fishing. I have all the colors, so. Once again, Mr. Rodriguez, there is no general purpose rod. There's really not. I always say that you have to evaluate what you fish. If you fish all the quarter ounce to 3/8 ounce lures, or you fish those most of the time, then get a medium action rod. If you fish 3/8 ounce up to an ounce, get a medium heavy action rod. If you fish the light stuff, the finesse stuff, get a finesse or get a medium light action spinning rod or a medium action spinning rod. You gotta evaluate how you fish to figure out what's the best general purpose rod. So, if you drag a Texas rig all day long or a Carolina rig all day long, a medium heavy rod. So it's all up to what you fish and how you fish it. I always recommend those 3 rods: spinning rod, medium light or medium action bait caster, and a medium heavy action bait caster. So will I ever come to San Diego? Maybe. That's where my branding company is. That's where the company that designed the Flukemaster brand and all of my shirts and everything else. It's amazing. I've known the owner of that branding company since we were 2, I think, maybe 1.5, 2, 3 years old. His mom was my Cub Scout leader, and now he owns a branding company in San Diego, and he did my brand for me. So it was absolutely a luck of the draw, but it was awesome. So, am I going ice fishing this year? Yes, I probably am. I'm about to go. I'm probably going to be going in December. Somewhere. Going to be flying into Wisconsin and going with Eric Hadia, who's a guide up there, and a good friend of mine, member of the Lumcraft Pro staff. So, but let's see. Let's see. What's my top bait to use in November, December? Moving baits. In November and December, I'm still fishing fairly warm water. Usually doesn't get down to 50s around here. If it gets below 50, I'm throwing a jerk bait and a jig. I'm throwing a jerk bait and a jig, and maybe a lead-headed fluke. But I'm going to be dragging a jig on all the hard bottom I can find because that's kind of where the bass are going to congregate. I just find whatever depth they're holding at, and I might be throwing an A-rig this winter too. I'm gonna try to do an A-rig video eventually. I just got to get the confidence in it. I don't typically like them because you get hooks in 5,000 different places on a fish. So. Sellers Racing, how do you work a Texas rig? I've never found a video that shows how. I have 2 videos that show how. One is a very good one. I catch fish on it. I show you how to rig it, work it, the whole 9 yards. So go to my channel, do a little search for Texas rig, and watch the videos I have on Texas rig. So, how can a fan go fishing with you? We're going to start doing some stuff like that next year. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time right now with my full-time job and my kids and trying to keep the videos going and everything else. My time is tight, really, really tight. So what I'm going to do is next year start doing some cool things like that. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to be a lot more out in the public. So just be patient, because I sure need to be. It's going to happen, I promise. How do you work a wacky rig? I don't fish Cincos. I just don't like them. There's a lot of the things I'd rather fish than a Cinco. So the 13 fishing concept reels. You know what? They're not bad. I'm really, because I used the same reels for like 8 years. It's hard for me to instantly tell you how good a reel is. I mean, I can tell you how they feel in my hand and whether I like them when I hold them in my hand and play with them and stuff. But I really need to get out and fish that thing a lot and before I have an opinion on them. I like them so far. I really do. And it'd be interesting to see what happens in the future and how I feel about them 6, 7, 8 months down the road. So I'm going to kind of hold off on a review with them right now because I want to beat them up. I want to put the torture test to them and see what they do. So. I don't hate the Duckett Company. I really don't, Matt Rogers. I don't. So I'm done answering questions about them. That's just it. It's I'm sponsored by 13 Fishing now. 13 Fishing believes in what I do and how I do it, and that's more important than anything right now. They understand social media marketing. They understand me. They understand what I do and how. All I want to do is teach people how to fish. And they're good with that. They're absolutely good with that. And they were happy with forming a business relationship with me. So Duckett wasn't. Best trailer for a buzzbait. You know what? I don't really I don't use a trailer. What I do is I'll rip the skirt off of it and then put like a fat Albert grub is what I like to put on the back end of it, or some type of a swim bait. So what color crankbait should you use in Lanier? Clear colors. If you can basically you take a crankbait, and if it's translucent, it can have colors and stuff like that. But if you can see light through it, that's what I would use on Lake Lanier, because that water's so clear. So, have you ever fished Lamaglass rods? Nope, sure haven't. I'm not a fan of Shimano. Boy, these things are coming up quick. Hold on, guys. I gotta mess around. I hate this thing. I won't own a Spro Rat. I want to own one day, but so. Did I fish the hook? Mike, I didn't fish the hook and cook on Jackson. I wish I would have. I work weekends, so I don't fish tournaments. I don't fish tournaments anyway, so nope, wasn't me. I wonder if did the Barry's boat ramp or Barry's put that on? They probably did. Bobby Barry's a good guy. They run a good show. So, what do I use for chatterbaits? I use a medium heavy moderate action rod for chatterbaits. Let's correct that. When I don't have a crankbait tied onto my medium heavy moderate, I use that. But if I do have a crankbait tied onto it, I'll use a medium fast action rod. Is also a really good chatterbait rod. Not as good, but it's a good one. So medium fast action or medium heavy moderate action are the two for good chatterbait rods. So. Aaron Smith, I heard you say once you was in the Army. If so, what was your MOS? At the time, it was 91 Papa. like I said, I went in and I went through 9-1 Bravo school, which was field medic. I went through field medic school, and then I went up the hill at San Antonio at Fort Sam, and spent 20 weeks in X-ray school. I was an X-ray technician, and then from there went to Fort Gordon, Georgia, which is right here in Augusta, and got my on-the-job training for 20 more weeks, and then took off and went to Hawaii for 3 years, and came back to Augusta, and then ended my 6 years in Augusta. So, yeah, that's all I needed was 6 years, and got out and got a good job, and I'm stuck here because it's good pay here in Augusta for what I do. So, do I like the bull shad swim bait? Yes, I do. I really do. I've known about it since it was being built, and it's a great swim bait. Really good swim bait. Worth every dime, I guarantee you that. What is the best time to use spooks? Spooks for me are kind of an open water deal when they're schooling, when they're up shallow, suspended, and they're chasing bait fish and things like that. I'll use a spook early in the morning, low light conditions for any kind of topwater, but spook is usually what I go to, or a frog or something like that. So, Fluke, talk about some techniques when the bite is tough, specifically when you see bass following your bait but not biting. When I see bass following my bait and not biting, I don't typically change much. I'll change colors. I'll go to a more natural color. I may twitch my rod a little bit more and things like that. I don't consider that a tough bite, because if they're following it, that means they're somewhat interested in it. I just need to change something to get them a little more interested in it. So I change directions a lot on those. Usually they follow moving baits. So I'll pop my rod, I'll try to run into something, things like that. Just cause them to react to a change in the motion. If the bite's tough, I go finessey. I really do drop shot, shaky head. That kind of stuff. What was the fishing like in Hawaii? There was a lake in the middle of Oahu. I can't remember the name of it. It had peacock bass in it, and there's signs every 100 feet or so that say, do not eat any fish out of this lake due to pollution. And so I didn't fish there much. Afraid something was going to burn off. So I worked 80-hour weeks too, so it was kind of tough to get any fishing. Have I ever fished Lake Fork? Yes, I did for a week way back in the day. 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So BPS rods or Bass Pro Shop rods are really good starter rods. That's what I started with. And like I said earlier, if you don't have the money, jump on it. If you don't have a whole lot of money, get a Bass Pro Shop combo. If you do have the money, the best entry level rod, and I say entry level being $80 rod, is a Blackout. Number 8 tackle Blackout, dude. I'm telling you, that thing blew me away. It's $80, so it's not expensive at all. So I have never fished Okeechobee. So, do you like fishing tackle backpack? I don't know what that is. So, why don't I own power poles? I probably will get some on my next boat. Alumacraft, we have a deal where I basically sell my boat and get a new one every year, just to make sure I keep the current the current year of boats, so I can show them to people and things like that, so I can demo the boat. But anyway, my home lake, we're fishing shallow enough to use those things a month out of the year, maybe. The rest of the time I'm offshore, so then they just get in the way. And but now I'm traveling to a few more lakes. In the last few weeks, I really have wished I had an anchor I could drop. And so shallow water anchors are going to come into play on the back of my boat soon, because they sure would have been a great tool in the last few weeks. So, and I'm going to start fishing a lot more lakes that are a lot shallower and fish a lot shallower. So, you'll see them on the boat eventually. So, am I going to make my own lure company? No plans for it. One thing that is going to happen, though, is kind of cool. I'm in the process of designing a bunch of jigs, jig colors, jig heads, things like that for a company. You guys know I've been supporting this company for a number of years, called Siebert Outdoors, Siebert Outdoors. he's been a friend of mine. We've been real supportive of each other, and he called me up the other day and asked me to design a line of jigs that we're going to call the Flukemaster line. And so hopefully we'll have those out by Thanksgiving and be ready to sell them on his website. So that's something I'm really working on right now. So that'll be pretty cool. It's kind of exciting. I've kind of wanted to do that. I designed a couple of colors for him a couple of years ago, and we're going to include those colors in that line and everything else. So. Let's see. Do I like fly fishing for bass? I don't do it much. I've thought about doing it. I grew up fly fishing, so it would be easy for me to do. So, what do I like better? I've never tried the Lucky Tackle Box. Mystery Tackle Box is for me. I've been really happy with them, and I'm sponsored by them now, so it's just. But even before that, man, they're great company, great guys. You can trust them. Their integrity is incredible. Their customer service, they do the best they can. And I think they got 25,000 subscribers now, something like that, a whole bunch. I don't know how many they've got. It's just amazing. So. Best $160 to $200 reel would be the Concept A or the Concept C so far. I mean, I really like them. They've been good to me so far. Like I said, I'm going to get a little bit of time to totally play with them. So, how do I fish a chatterbait? Seth, I've got a video on how to fish a chatterbait that I filmed this spring. Go watch it. It's got everything you need to know about them. So. Have I ever fished the Whopper plopper? No, but I'm going to fish it tomorrow. I fished it, but I think I've caught I got one bite on one, and I don't have a lot of confidence in it, but it's something I want to fish tomorrow. So. Have I ever thought about coming down to Florida for peacock? I did, actually. There's a video on my channel about it. I went fishing with Peter Miller from Bass to Billfish, and it was when I was helping him get his channel started, or his channel in a different direction. I went down there and did a collaborative video with him, and I was amazed. Those things are incredible. They're so freaking aggressive. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I've done that. So opinion on the Boyd Duckett knockoff, swim bait knockoff. Go watch the video I just launched on my review channel. So. Next time I'll be fishing Clark's Hill. I'm going to be fishing Lake Greenwood this week. I'll probably get on Clark Hill next week. I don't know. It just all depends. It's right up the road. I can go whenever I want to go, so it's not. But I don't have to make a plan. So. Water conditions for bright colored lures. Actually, I do really good and very, very clear. I'll throw a methylate trickworm in clear water, but usually I'll throw bright colored lures in low light conditions, muddy, dark water, that kind of stuff. So, yes, Greenwood is good. It's a good lake. Would swim jigs fish? I'm sorry, I can't read tonight. I'm so tired. Would swim jig fishing be something that you'd be interested in trying or making a video of? That's something I've been working on. I've got a bunch of swim jigs. Been waiting on a good swim jig bite. Really been doing a lot of research, a lot of study, a lot of practicing. I don't just come out and do a video just because somebody wants one. I have to go and learn how to do it. I can't teach it if I don't know how to do it, because a lot of the stuff I talk about on my videos comes from the hip, and if I don't have anything to come from the hip, it ain't gonna be a good video. So it's something I'm working on. So just know that it'll come out eventually. What kind of best works best for you and Lanier? What is that? Try again. What do you think about Lou's reels? They're good reels. I mean, they're really good. They're good for the price. They're $70 or $80 reels, pretty good. So that's how I feel about them. Yamaha Mercury outboard. Dude, I love my Yamaha. My Mercury caught on fire before I sold it. Do I need to say anything else? My Yamaha is $15 a day to run. It's 115 horsepower, goes 46 miles an hour. and it goes and goes, and it starts right up and it goes. I love that Yamaha. I don't think you'll see me with anything other than Yamaha on the back of my boat ever again. So that's how I feel about it. Ever fished Livingston Learns? No, I really haven't. I'm not a bandwagon guy. It took me 4 or 5 years to fish a chatterbait after they got so popular after that Bassmasters Classic. I am not a bandwagon guy. So I tend to shy away from what everybody's buying, that kind of stuff. I'm just not into that. So when I hunted a lot, did I use a rifle? I used a bow mostly. I'm a big bow hunter. The rifle I used when I was a teenager, it was a 300 Winchester Magnum. We reloaded though; it was about like a .6 speed and kick and everything else. So I had a 300 Win Mag because we did some hunting out west and we did hunting up in Canada. Me and my dad did, and so we needed something with a lot more kick for bigger game, large game. But we reloaded down for whitetail, and then my bow. I've had a bow since I was 12 years old. And stuck a lot of deer. So ever fished Old Hickory? No, dude. I almost fished it this spring or this summer, and I should have. I really should have gone up there and done it. I need to go fish some more smallmouth lakes. So favorite Elite Pro? Whew. I don't know. I really don't. I like Brent Ehrler. I think he is an absolute amazing talent. I root for him more than anybody. But Iaconelli is a good guy. He can fish. He's actually a really good down to earth guy. And Mike McClellan. I've been in the boat with him a couple times, and I really like him. I like Timmy Horton. They're all great guys. Very few of them are not. Very few of them are. I wouldn't help out or give the time of day. I like most of them. So. What's the best? If I had an answer to the best way to catch a stubborn 10-pounder, I'd be catching one every day. I promise you. There is no answer to that question, Colby. I am sorry. Ever use jigs in crystal clear water? All the time. All the time. Go a little bit lighter with your fishing line. 15-pound test fluorocarbon. I use 20-pound test fluorocarbon when I do mine. All natural colors, and they work. They really do. Fish hard bottom. Do I think I learned more from land fishing than boat fishing? Jacob, that's a great question. Yes, I love to fish. When I spent 12 years walking the banks of all those lakes that I grew up on, I learned so much because you're going slow and you're looking and you can actually see how bass are reacting to your baits. Excuse me. And I learned a ton about how to work a bait and how to use a bait and how to sneak around and how important it was to keep your feet still and keep everything quiet. And I caught a ton of fish. I really did. And they were all public waters. Just I learned more from doing that. Now with the boat, it's a whole different world. You got to learn your electronics. You learn your positioning. Learn how to run the boat, and then learn how to do it all without thinking about it because all you need to do is focus on fishing. It's a whole different world, but I'm always reverting back to things I learned while I was bank fishing. Still liking my Raymarine sonar. I don't have it anymore. It's on my old boat. I left it. I sold my motor to my best friend and gave him the boat for free because it was breaking apart, and left the electronics on it. So he's got my Raymarine now. I miss it a little bit, and it has a really good quality down imaging. I really do. Might be a company I approach about a sponsorship. Who knows? But I was really happy with that thing, man. I missed it when I didn't have it, and I pretty much miss it now too. Favorite rod brand for around $100 would be $100 would be a 13 Fishing Omen Black Generation 2, $99. I I have a bunch of them now, and I really like them. They're good rods. Uh, Best drop shot color in clear lakes for the fall is going to be a natural color. You just play around with it. Anything that's a natural color, green pumpkin is usually what I go for first. So, kind of way bait works for me in Lanier. I drop shot a lot in Lanier. I do a lot of top water, and I only fish there in summertime anyway. So, hopping a jig around brush piles, things like that. Favorite rattle trap color is the color the fish want. I experiment like crazy until I get that. So, I'm still liking the blackout rods. I promise you, I'm going to like those things for a while. If you go back and watch my Duck It Ghost fishing video, or my Duck It Ghost review video, you'll see I put a disclaimer on there because I figured out after I made that video how bad the tip top grooves on it. And so I will go back. If I find out something after the fact, after I've made these review videos, I will go back and put disclaimers on the videos. Tackle Junkie 81, what's up, jokers? That's my boy. You guys, man, if you don't follow Tackle Junkie or subscribe to Tackle Junkie on YouTube, man, you really need to. He knows his stuff. He really does. He's an organized son of a gun too. Golly. Ugh. I just wish I took care of my tackle as good as he does. So do I make my own tackle, Justin? Nope, sure don't. I need to get back into it, just don't have time. I have several hundred jig heads sitting in my garage in a box, and I haven't made any jigs in a long time. Best fishing attractant is going to be JJ's Magic all day long. So our Blackouts micro guides, no, they're kind of they're the step up from the micro guide. They're not the full size. They're like the medium micros or whatever they call them. So really, they make that rod super light, super sensitive. I still can't believe it's $80. You guys don't know what you're missing. It's a great rod. Oh. Have I ever fished Z-Man lures? Yeah, the chatterbaits, the pop shads, the ones that showed up in the mystery tackle box. I've fished them. Can't use my favorite attractant on it. Can't use JJ's Magic on it because the JJ's dissolves the elastic or the soft plastic that they use. So the Ned rig, I'm still learning it. I really am. I'm trying to get used to it. We have a lot of brush and stuff in our lakes, a lot of things that thing can get hung on, but I've caught a few fish on it. It's pretty good. I want to do a Ned rig video, but I'm not going to do it until I learn how to fish it and get a little bit more confidence in it. So favorite cranking rod is going to be a medium moderate action rod is my favorite cranking rod. Are the 13 fishing reels worth the money? Yes, I would agree with that. They're worth the money. Like I said, I'm still playing with them, still trying to mess around with them. Trying to figure out what they're all about, what they do, and so. But for right now, dude, they're awesome. They really are. I'm not all into the distance casting and everything else, but when you set them up right, they cast a country mile. So. And they got great drags. Holy cow! The main reason why I am going with them with those reels is the drag, and because I'm so used to that Revo drag that is crank it down to 20, 23, 24 pounds or 22 pounds, whatever they say, and be able to turn fish out of heavy cover. And that's the reason why I went with 13 Fishing is because they've got big stout drags. So. Have I considered becoming a guide? Yes, I have. It might happen again one day. I used to take people fishing quite often, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm still trying to figure it out. I got to find more time is the biggest thing. So if I go, what happens when I guide is I lose a whole week of video, and so I have to get to where I'm making a whole bunch of videos before I decide whether I want to get back into guiding. Thoughts on brush hogs? They're a great bait. They really are. I've got a ton of them. I know a couple of pros that's all they fish when it comes to creature baits is brush hogs, and they catch fish. Oh, was it Blorgard Q Kazu, whoever that is? Anyway, ask the question: how do you find the time to work, run your YouTube channel, fish, and take care of your family? Do you never sleep? I slept for 3 hours today. Worked a 15-hour shift last night. Went to church Sunday. 15-hour shift on Saturday night. But I do what I can do. The kids go to school on Monday through Friday. My wife is a nurse at their school, so she's gone. That's when I find my time to fish and run my YouTube channel. I do what I got to do. Got to be a daddy first, and then YouTube channel comes. It'll happen. Where do I work? I work at a hospital. I shoot X-rays. What lure in shallow stained water would be a spinnerbait, or a lipless crankbait, or a chatterbait, or anything that vibrates and moves? Do I think missile baits are worth it? Yeah, I like missile baits. John Cruz owns the company, and he does some pretty good stuff. Soft plastics are soft plastics. It's some of them are really great. I've found very few that are bad that I would never use. It just. What is good for night fishing? I usually big worms, Carolina rig, man. I throw that all night long. Jig, anything I fish during the day, just darker colors, a little bit of rattle in them. So. Best boat I have owned, my current boat. And it's not because Alumacraft sponsors me. I love my stinking boat. It's stable. It's got a ton of storage. I can fit everything I need in that boat and then some. I mean, because I've got, filming equipment and my tackle and all my safety equipment and all my backup stuff and my food and my drinks and everything else. And then I've got to have room. It's got to have the deck clean so I can make a good video and at least look somewhat presentable. And so I love that boat, dude, and it only cost me $15 to $25 a day to run that thing with that Yamaha on the back, and it tows great. I got it with an aluminum trailer, and I have a V6 truck. I don't use a V8. And once again, that's more savings, less gas. I can tow it all day long. So, best punch bait's going to be a Valcraw, Justin. I promise you, I love that thing. I do not need to buy a glass boat. I don't think a fiberglass is my kind of boat. Why? Why do I need a fiberglass? Aluminum floats. Aluminum costs a lot less per day. You gotta realize I'm on the lake 3 to 4 days a week. At $15 to $20 a day, I can afford that. At $80 to $120 a day, I'd be in the poorhouse next week. I can't afford to do it, and I'd have to buy a new truck to tow it with and everything else. Guys, if you really want to save money fishing and you just want to go out and go catch fish, get an aluminum boat. And if you really want to buy the best boat out there, buy Alumacraft. You get what you pay for when it comes to aluminum boats. If you want to buy the cheapest one out there, you're going to get the cheapest one out there. I promise. So, you get what you pay for. One lure I could fish for the rest of my life. I don't know. It's hard to choose. Straight tail worm. That's why I was so excited about Biospawn coming out with that 6.5-inch plasma tail. I fished a trick worm before that. I love straight tail worms. I can catch fish on them all day long, every day of the year if I needed to. So, do I make GoPro stands at home? Yes, I do. All my stands are homemade, except for, I got a new one. I got a 8-foot boom. Holy cow, what the heck's going on with that thing? My phone started going crazy. I got an 8-foot boom, and it's pretty cool. I'm testing it out for a company. Really good, neat little camera angle. So you'll see a new camera angle on my next videos. I used it for the first time the day I dropped my GoPro in the water. So, and I just edited one of those videos. I got another one to do tomorrow when I get off the lake. So, Thoughts on presidential candidates. My thought is I never, ever, ever talk about politics and religion. I may say God bless you every once in a while, but other than that, I will not do it. All that stuff is all for me. It's all private in my eyes. So, have I ever fished Dobbin rods? Yes, Zach, I have. I was actually one of their original pro staff back in the day when they had their first rods, and I loved them then. They make great rods. If you can afford them now, they're higher end rods are the best rods in the business. If you want to buy a $400 rod, go right ahead. But I will tell you right now, Dobbins makes the best high end rods. So, of course, I haven't tried the new 13 fishing, but in my opinion, and I'll be flat out honest, I have never been unhappy with those rods. Loved them. Yes, iCloud, you must have missed that. I still use Seabird Outdoors jigs. Matter of fact, you're about to see, sometime around Thanksgiving, you're going to see a line of Flukemaster jigs that I'm designing for him. So, and what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to design the colors, the jig colors, and let you guys choose what jig heads you want on them. Because a lot of people want an Arky head, and I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 jig heads lined up. My 3 favorite ones, Arky head, his all-terrain jig, I don't know what he calls it, and then his gridiron football jig, and that's going to be it. No swim jigs yet. Anything else, just 5, 6, 7 colors that you guys can choose from that are just going to be amazing. So, and then you can choose I think we're going to have it where you can choose whether you want living rubber on it, which is the way I prefer it, or just straight silicone to save you a little bit of money. One's going to be a little bit more expensive than the other because the living rubber is a little bit more expensive. So. Most expensive bait I own is a Mike Buca Bull Shad, custom painted by Dwayne Beatty. It's a $125 swim bait. I lost another one that was the same type of bait. I lost it in Gunnersville a couple of years ago. So, $125 swim bait sitting at the bottom of Gunnersville. Do I ever split shot? No, I don't split shot. I use a Mojo rig instead. Basically fish the same way. It just comes through the grass better. Where do I buy my tungsten weights? Wherever I can get them. I have a $20 a month budget, and I buy $20 worth of tungsten weights every single month. Been doing it for 4 years, and that's how I keep it from being so expensive. I just go buy them. And Academy Sports carries them. I'll buy Academy brand. I'll buy Cabela's brand. I'll buy Bass Pro Shop brand, Strike King, whatever's there, especially if they're on sale. So, what do bass feed on in Lanier? Bait fish, crawfish, blueback herring. No, I've never fished Neely Henry. Ranger aluminum boats. I've been in them. You know what? The thing they're stable. They're wide, stable boats. They're basically the same exact hull that I had on my Triton aluminum, width-wise. It's I don't know about the inside of it, but I don't like the layout of them. They don't have a lot of storage. The 2 front storage compartments are rounded, so you can't fit Plano boxes in them. There's really only one place you can put Plano boxes, and that is in the back hatches behind the seats, and that's not a whole lot of tackle. I have 20 Plano boxes I put in my boat. I have 18 to 20 rods I put in my boat, and I can fit all of that in the front of my Alumacraft. So that's the biggest thing that stuck out to me when I dug through a Ranger or a Triton aluminum boat. They're both the same boat. So. Is Bass Tracker a good starter boat? Like I said a minute ago, you get what you pay for. If you want to buy the cheapest boat, you're going to get the cheapest boat. So, I can tell you what I don't like about them. They're not very stable. They're real narrow, so they wiggle and wobble. Especially for big dudes, they just wiggle and wobble. So, that's just how I feel about them. Justin, go study for your math test, dude. I'm not that big. So let's see. Let's ban this idiot. All right. Yeah, any boat's really a good starter boat. For a good starter big boat, bass boat, yeah, dude, I'd look at aluminum, but just, you get what you pay for. Best jig for both swimming and sorry, I zoned off for a minute, guys. Swimming and flipping. You can swim any jig, really. I've caught them swimming a football head jig. I just get a flipping jig and go swim it. And a flipping jig usually does not drag on the bottom very good. So there's not a catch-all. You got a swim jig, and any jig can be swimmed. A flipping jig that goes through the cover, but it falls on its side when it's drug on the bottom. So you need something that's got a flat bottom or a football head that drags. Best dragging jig is a football head. Best flipping jig is a pointed foot flipping jig, because you're just flipping it and it's punching through the cover. You're bouncing up and down, bringing it back out. Swim jig, same sort of deal. You can use any of them. So I haven't used the new Garmin's yet. Nope, I really want to. I want to dig into those. Those look awesome. So, BJ asked me, do I have any desire to fish the West Coast? Nah, not at the point. Not right now. Not a huge desire. I mean, I'd do it if I had the opportunity, but I just don't do it right now. Best bait casting rod under $100 is, I'm going to tell you all day long, and now that I've found it, it's the number 8 tackle Blackout. You can get it at a tackle warehouse. Absolutely the best rod under $100. If I swear up and down that thing feels like a $150, $160 rod. So, do I recommend buying used boats? I'd be careful. I recommend it because my first few boats were used. Know who you buy it from and get that motor checked out before you even consider buying it. Take it to a dealer or take it to a repair guy. Have him run it over. Have him check the compression, everything else, and don't, dude. You buy a bad boat, you could die out in the middle of the lake. So be real careful buying a used boat. That's why I did not sell my old boat, because I knew it had a 36-inch crack down the middle of the hull. And I sold my best friend the motor, and I said, you can have the boat, because I knew he knew people who could take it apart and weld it the way it needed to be welded and fix it. And that's what he's doing right now. So it's one big project for him. I feel bad for him. Let's see. I don't answer any more questions about ducats. I'm done with them. So, do I like robo worms? Yeah, robo worms are pretty good. They're a great drop shot worm. So, Midwest Outdoors. Whenever I feel like a robot repeating the same things over and over on live chat. Sometimes I enjoy doing it, dude, because I'm teaching. People ask me questions. There are very few questions I get tired of answering because they may not have heard the answer the last time. That's the one thing that drove me nuts about Bass Resource, is that people would get so upset about these guys that were new to the forum and would get on and ask the same question that was asked 100 times before. How do they know? They don't. And so it ticks me off when guys, beat up people for asking the same question that's been asked 100 times. It's just how I feel. I enjoy answering questions. I don't care if they're the same ones over and over again. So, tips for fishing without electronics. Man, I talk about that a lot on my videos. It's all in your eyes, dude. You're looking for the food. The bass are not going to leave far from the kitchen table. You've got to look for signs of their food being there. Be it birds on the bank that are eating bait fish, swirls on the water. Lots of activity in an area, and then you just focus on that area. So, stuck on an island with any other fishing YouTuber, who and why? I don't know. I get along with so many of them, dude. I mean, I get along with anybody, but if I was stuck with any other YouTuber, I don't know. Me and John B get along pretty good. Old Midwest. Anyway, fishing the Midwest. John B and I get along real good. It'd have to be somebody like John or Mike or Andrew. We all get along pretty good. And Jim. Jim's a lot of fun, man. He's a lot of fun. You guys, I'm telling you, Tackle Junkie he's a cool dude. Really is. He's one of the few that really has a lot of integrity. So good beginner casting reel. For a beginner casting reel, depends on how much you want to spend. Typically, I'd stay around the $50 mark. I wouldn't go much cheaper than that. The new let me find it right here. If you want a really good beginner reel that's going to last you, several seasons, this Cast King reel right here, and I don't know, it's the RS1000H. I think it's like $45. This reel right here. I'm working on a review for it. I really think it's a really good, hey, I want to learn how to throw a bait caster because you can, the settings are right. I learned on a really cheap one, like a $20 Walmart bait caster. That thing was horrible. And so I really recommend staying around the $50 mark. But this is a really, in my opinion, a really good reel to learn on because it's going to last you. It feels like a pretty good reel. It feels a lot better than any reel at that price. And I'd recommend it, Cast King. And you can only buy their stuff on their website. That's why they're able to keep their prices down. And I think it's Poseidon. I don't know how to spell it, but you'd have to do a Google search. So, crap, I keep messing that up. What do I think about power plant lakes? I've never fished one. Sinclair is, and I've never fished it in the wintertime. People love it, but for me, everybody always says it's a take a number, do a round robin. There's just tons of people fishing the warm water, and I love fishing cold water. So, something about centrifugal. Hold on a second. Hey Gene, on centrifugal systems, which is the braking systems on bait casters. Is it off if I push it in or pull them out? Usually, if you push them in, they're off. You can pull them out, they're on. What happens is when it spins, those brakes pop out just a little bit more, and they get onto that little round ring that's in there, and it's the friction between them and the ring is what causes it to do that. So. Do I like shopping online for baits? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I like doing it, and it's about 50-50 because I've got Academy Sports is so awesome. They usually have everything I need or most everything I need. So I go to Academy Sports. I can walk into a Cabela's and walk right back out, and Bass Pro Shops walk right back out, and they usually don't have what I'm looking for. So. All right. Question was asked twice, and I've answered it twice. And here's the third and fourth time it's been asked. Why don't I fish tournaments? It's not for me. It really isn't. I'm ultra competitive. I almost went professional soccer. I was a dang good wide receiver in football, hind catcher in baseball. I'm super competitive, and if I'm going to fish tournaments, I'm going to be 110% tournaments, and I'm going to be miserable because I'm going to be a slash your tire, kick your puppy, I don't give a crap about you type of tournament angler. That's just me. That's how I would be. And I have absolutely fallen in love with teaching people how to fish. I mean, I am so happy where I'm at right now. It's fulfilling. This is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to teach people how to fish. And so I'm going to put 110% into that. And it makes me happy. And I firmly believe I'm going to die a happy man. And tournament angling, I love those guys. I have all the respect in the world for guys who do that. It's just not for me, And I enjoy a pot tournament here and there and that kind of stuff. But I don't think I need to measure myself up against anybody in competition. because that's not what I want to do. I mean, I'm not a professional. I still learn every day, and I just want to teach you guys how to fish. That's me. You got it. That's all you're going to get to. Why do you use dark colors in dark water and bright colors in clear water? I use dark colors in dark water because you have a better silhouette. And you know, it just the bass pick up on it better, and they're more apt to hit it. I use bright colors in clear water because they can see it from a mile away, and their strike zone is huge, you know, and they're going to come and they're going to hit it if they want it, especially smallmouth, especially spotted bass. Largemouth a little bit more difficult, but when they're up shallow feeding, they're going to come. The most awesome picture I've ever seen, or a thing I've ever seen in fishing, was when I was first learning how to fish a weightless trick worm, which we call a floating worm. And it was a methylate trick worm, super clear water. I threw it out, was jerking it back to the boat, and I saw a 4-pounder come in behind it came in behind the worm. And you could see it just coming along and swimming and swimming and swimming, and then it just kind of opened its mouth, sucked it in, and I set the hook. It was so cool. So, but they see it from a long ways away, and they just hit them better. So, Blake Harrison Pooley asked me, how do I like fishing buzzbaits? I've got a video on it, 2 videos on it actually. It's a 2-part video on how to fish buzzbaits. Very, very thorough. Catch very good fish doing it, and it's a pretty entertaining video. So go watch it. And if any of you guys are watching this and aren't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. If I was to fish with anyone in the entire world, who would it be? It would be Steve Parks. He's become a real good friend of mine over the years. He is the inventor of the Rage Tail products. And I have admired his work for years, and he is a genius when it comes to catching big fish. So that's who I want to fish with. Negatives about my boat, what would they be? That's a good question. Hold on, let me get down so I can see the whole thing. If you could give some negatives about your boat, what would they be? Because I am looking at buying one and want some honest opinions. Negatives about my boat. Gosh, let me think. There's a few things that I've asked them to change on their boats, and they're going to be changing in the near future. I wouldn't call them negatives. I don't need the 3 pedestal mounts up front, you know. And so if you're having them build you one, which is what I would recommend anyway, if you're going to buy an Alumacraft, you know, go to a dealer, set it up, and you know. And if you want those 3 pedestal mounts, which are great for crappie fishermen that spider rig and things like that, they're going to be awesome for me and my kids, but I don't really use them that much. So you know, those 2 pedestal mounts, really not much else, really. Because I bass fish so much, I really don't need the front live well, but it makes for a good cooler, gives me a place to put stuff, and so it's not too bad. You know, that's another thing you know, they may take out in the future to put more storage up front. Holy cow, can you imagine more storage in that boat? Jeez Louise. My boat would be doing this number. I'd have all my tackle in it, and it'd be the butt end of the boat would be out of the water. Anything else? Not really. Dude, it's a solid boat. It really is. I love how it gets up on plane. I love how it handles in choppy water. You know, my last boat, you really could not take it. Once you saw whitecaps, you couldn't. You know, my Triton, you couldn't get up on plane even if you saw whitecaps, because it would hurt so bad. That boat flexed so much. But my Alumacraft, man, you see more than choppy water, 1-foot waves, and you're up on top of it, flying across it. A little bumpy, you know, it's an aluminum boat, it's a flat bottom, you're gonna feel it, but it's not scary. It's, you know, I didn't think my boat was gonna fall apart when I did it. So, silty bottom tips: don't fish bottom baits on silty bottom. You know, fish crankbaits, fish spinner baits, you know, stuff like that. I try to avoid fishing in the silt at all costs. So, All right, guys. Well, it's 10:30. I need to get up at 5 in the morning and drive an hour and a half to Lake Greenwood, South Carolina, where I'm going to go whack some in shallow water. I am going to, I got to go get packed. It finally stopped raining here, so I'm going to go out and pull some rods and tackle out of my boat and get packed up and get ready to go. And hopefully put a video together tomorrow. I'm fishing with a guide on Greenwood. Just kind of offered to take me out, and it's going to be pretty fun. We'll see if we can get something together, see if you guys can show a video. It'll probably be just a fun video where me and him are just catching them, and I put it to music. So I really appreciate Whiskey, the band Whiskey Rodeo, for making those songs for me, or giving me the music to those songs so I can put them on my latest videos. If you guys haven't heard Whiskey Rodeo, check them out. Go to the videos and check out the music that I put in them. So they're a pretty cool band. They're kind of a country rock kind of stuff. So. But anyway, it's been great talking to you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I just kind of did this to try to figure out what all was out about this hangout. I still got a few more things to learn. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure you do. If you haven't subscribed to my other channel, which is Flukemaster Reviews, click on it. I just launched a review on that today. Got a video launching on my Flukemaster channel tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Look forward to that. And get out in the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. Take care. Now I got to figure out how to stop this broadcast.